Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Nitya Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gora Hari Bol
Nitya Gora Hari Bol
Hari Bol
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Govind Prabhu, for the Kirtan. Hari Bol. So we can do 1 or 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra till 8:15, and then we can start with the book reading. Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Ram Hare
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram Hare
Ram Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram
Ram Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Ram Hare
Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna
Hare Ram Hare
Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Bolo.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
How is everyone doing?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I see Anusuya Mataji, Anil Prabhu, Anil Uncle, and Smita Auntie, Ajay Prabhu, Neena Didi, Anita Didi, Madhu Didi, Amar Prabhu, Vishakha, Govind, Subrat, Darsh, Amish, Rashna Didi, Anamita Didi, Mr. Fofi. So if I don't recognize the name, I will have to log you off. So Mr. Fofi, either you introduce yourself or rejoin with your original name. Otherwise, unfortunately, I will have to log you off. Okay, Dr. Fofi. So I'm sorry, but I have to remove you, and then you can join with your original name that we can recognize. Darsh, I see Darsh now. And anybody I missed? I have to take him out. Okay, so welcome to Friday's program. So we'll start with 3 Hari Bols all together. Please unmute yourself and let's make sure we all are in the good spirits, high spirits. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
So today we'll have our Science of Self-Realization book reading. This is last Friday of the month. So I will share in a moment. So see somebody with the name iPhone. I'm not sure who is that. iPhone, can you please identify yourself? I see Rama Venapulkalini. Welcome to the program. Hare Krishna. Okay. So please let me know if you are not able to see my screen. I have projected the online copy of the Science of Self-Realization. And just to recap, what are we trying to read or understand through this book? Wonderful book of Srila Prabhupada, which is a collection of the interviews, essays, and letters. This book is a collection of various interviews, lectures, essays, and letters. And Srila Prabhupada, through these mediums, he's explaining how to practice the perfect yoga in this modern age. So we should not think this is for people who used to live in the ancient time. This is perfectly applicable for us. And that's why Srila Prabhupada has presented and done so much hard work for us. And this book includes the topics like the real goal of life, the science of the soul, karma and reincarnation, super consciousness, how to choose a spiritual master, Krishna and Christ, and most importantly, the spiritual solutions to today's social and economical problems. Okay, so with that introduction, let's go back to the online copy. And last week we read where there was a discussion about soul. And the section we stopped was the heart surgeon wanted to know, heart surgeon wants to know what a soul is. So we completed this section. If anyone has any questions, any comments, anything you would like to get more clarified, please let me know. Otherwise, we can start with the next section, which is Srila Prabhupada gives the Vedic evidence. So Srila Prabhupada is going to give the Vedic evidence about the existence of soul. Okay, so if no questions, we can move. Okay, there is a chat message, so let me quickly check that message. Rama, hello, I am Kameshwari nephew from India. She is with me here listening. She says she misses everyone and hopes all is well in Reading. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Kameshwari auntie. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Rama Prabhu, for connecting her. We all are missing her a lot, and we hope everything over there is fine. And Kameshwari auntie and mom, they are all doing good. So by Krishna's mercy, all of us here are doing well. We just need your blessings and prayers. So thank you so much for joining from India.
Hare Krishna, auntie.
Hare Krishna. Kameshwari, Didi.
Hari bol.
Hare Krishna, auntie.
Yeah, I think she's on mute.
Oh.
Okay, wonderful. So let's start reading. We will do the Mangalacharan and then we'll move ahead with the reading. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vaishnavi Sthapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं
सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य
परिजनसहितं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुर्भ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome once again, and with the mercy of Shri Guru and Gauranga and our Guru Parampara, we'll start with today's discussion. And the mercy of Shri Guru and the spiritual masters and the whole Guru Parampara is very, very important. Like last time we were discussing, remember everybody, GPS. Like GPS directs our travel, right? And make sure we reach the destination. The GPS in our car. At least for me, I'm totally dependent on a GPS. I just cannot use my mind. I don't know why. I'm pretty bad with the roads. But the good thing is that GPS is with us. Similarly, GPS, Guru Parampara system. Our GPS for the progression, for our journey in spiritual life. So we should always remember that, and we should always be grateful for all the acharyas, all the gurus, and especially Srila Prabhupada for making our journey so comfortable, so easy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada gives the Vedic evidence. My dear Dr. Bigelow, please accept my greetings. Recently, I have read an article in Gazette by Ray Corelli entitled Heart Surgeon Wants to Know What a Soul Is. And it was very interesting. Your comments show great insight, and so I thought to write you on this matter. Perhaps you may know that I am the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I have several temples in Canada, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and Hamilton. This Krishna consciousness movement is specifically meant to teach every soul his original spiritual position. Can somebody read the next one?
Undoubtedly, the soul is present in the heart of the living entity, and it is the source of all the energies for maintaining the body. The energy of the soul is spread all over the body, and this is known as consciousness. Since this consciousness spreads the energy of the soul all over the body, one can feel pains and pleasures in any part of the body. The soul is individual, and he is transmigrating from one body to another, just as a person transmigrates from babyhood to childhood, from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to youth, and then advanced old age. Then the change called death takes place when we change to a new body, just as we change our old dress to a new dress. This is called transmigration of the soul.
Okay, so this is a wonderful. We have read that verse in Bhagavad Gita. Anybody remember? From Deho asmin yatha dehe. Anyone remembers? Deho asmin yatha dehe. Namjara katha dehantar praptir vistatra namuyati. Right? We discussed that verse where this transmigration of the soul from one body to the other body is nicely explained. And what it says, once who understands this transmigration of the soul, what is the benefit of knowing about it and understanding that feature of the soul? He never gets bewildered. No matter what happens around us, to our body or around us, that person is always patient, right? He always is out of any anxiety or stress. So that's the benefit of understanding this science. Very important science. Thank you, Uncle, for reading that. Next one, please. We all can volunteer quickly so that we don't lose any time, please.
When a soul wants to enjoy this material world, forgetting his real home in the spiritual world, he takes his life of hard struggle for existence. This unnatural life of the repeated birth, death, disease, and old age can be stopped when his consciousness is ventilated with the supreme consciousness of God. This is the basic principle of our Krishna's movement.
As far as heart transplants is concerned, there is no question of success unless the soul is there in the heart. So the presence of the soul has to be accepted. In sexual intercourse, if there is no soul, there is no conception, no pregnancy. Contraption deteriorates the womb so that it is no longer a good place for the soul. That is against the order of God. By the order of God, a soul is sent to a particular womb. By this constructive, he is denied that womb and has to be placed in another. This is the disobedience to the Supreme. For example, take a man who is supposed to live in a particular apartment. If the situation there is so disturbed that he cannot enter the apartment, then he is put at a great disadvantage. This is illegal interference and is punishable.
The undertaking of soul research would certainly mark the advancement of science, but advancement of science will not be able to find the soul. The soul's presence can simply be accepted on circumstantial understanding. You'll find in the Vedic literature that the dimension of the soul is 1/10,000th the size of a point. The material scientists cannot measure the length and breadth of a point. Therefore, it is not possible for the material scientists to capture the soul. You can simply accept the soul's existence by taking it from authority. What the greatest scientists are finding, we've explained long ago.
Okay. At any point of time, if anybody thinks they need more clarification, please feel free to jump in, because that discussion will help everybody. So please do not be shy and do not feel awkward. Please jump in whenever we need to stop and take a moment to understand any point. Next, please.
As soon as one understands the existence of the soul, he can immediately understand the existence of God. The difference between God and the soul is that God is very great soul and the living entity is a very small soul, but qualitatively they are equal. Therefore, God is self-pervading and the living entity is localized, but the nature and quality are the same.
The central question, you say, is where is the soul and where does it come from? That is not difficult to understand. We have already discussed that the soul is residing in the heart of the living entity, and that it takes shelter in another body after death. Originally, the soul comes from God, just as a spark comes from fire, and when the spark falls down, it appears to be extinguished. The spark of soul originally comes from the spiritual world, the material world. In the material world, he falls down into three different conditions, which are called the modes of nature. When a spark of fire falls on dry grass, the fiery quality continues. When the spark falls on the ground, it cannot display its fiery manifestation unless the ground is favorably situated. And when the spark falls on water, it becomes extinguished. As such, we find three kinds of living conditions. One living entity is completely forgetful of his spiritual nature. Another is almost forgetful, but still has an instinct of spiritual nature. Another is completely in search of spiritual perfection. There is a bona fide method for the attainment of spiritual perfection by the spiritual spark of soul, and if he is properly guided, then he is very easily sent back home, back to Godhead, wherefrom he originally fell. It will be a great contribution to human society if this authorized information from the Vedic literature is presented to the modern world on the basis of modern scientific understanding. The fact is already there. It simply has to be presented for modern understanding. Yours sincerely, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
So wonderfully explained. And the most important part is here. There is a bona fide method for the attainment of spiritual perfection by the spiritual spark of soul. And if he is properly guided, then he is very easily sent back to Godhead. So that's why Srila Prabhupada appeared to give us this guidance and this path to go back. Okay. So anything we would like to, any questions anyone has? Because this chapter is completed, the first chapter, learning the science of the soul. Anyone has any questions or any points, any additions, any comments? Okay, if nothing. Number 2, chapter 2, choosing a spiritual master. What is a guru? In all the Shastras, scriptures, the guru is described to be as good as God. But the guru never says, I am God. The disciple's duty is to offer respect to the guru, just as he offers respect to God. But the guru never thinks, my disciples are offering me the same respect they offer to God. Therefore, I have become God. As soon as he thinks like this, he becomes a dog. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my guru, my spiritual master, opened my eyes with a torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. This is the prayer we do in Mangalacharan, right? The first prayer goes to Shri Guru. So very important to understand that for a disciple, Guru is as good as Krishna. We should never think, or we should never put our material intelligence in analyzing Guru. He is spiritual. And what is the prayer we do when we say Sakshat Haritvena? Anybody remember? Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastre Vasad Kintu Prabhurya Vande Guru Shri Aravinda. So let me see if we can find it and we all can recite it together again. Here you go. Can everyone see?
Yes.
So everyone would like to try together. Unmute yourself. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Sakshatharitven
Shastre
Yuktastapavya
Eva
Into
Prabhu
Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda
Guru Shri
Charanaravinda.
Vande
Vande
Guru Shri
Guru
Charanavinda.
Vande Guru.
So the meaning is, the spiritual master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord, because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master, who is a bona fide representative of Shri Krishna, Shri Hari. So it is as per the Shastras, not a made up thing. In all the revealed scriptures and by all the authorities, all the Vaishnava Paramparas, this is accepted. Okay. So we can move from here. Let's go ahead. Anyone would like to read?
The word Agyana means ignorance or darkness. If all the lights in this room immediately went, can you do let it down?
Sure, Mataji.
The word Agyana means ignorance or darkness. If all the lights in this room immediately went out, we would not be able to tell where we or others are sitting. Everything would become confused. Similarly, we are all in darkness in this material world, which is a word of tamas. Tamas or timira means darkness. This material world is dark, and therefore it needs sunlight or moonlight for illumination. However, there is another world, a spiritual world that is beyond this darkness, that would be described by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 15.6. Na tad bhashyate suryo na sansako na papavakaha yad gatva na nirvatante tad dharma paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world.
Okay. I think pretty obvious, right? Let's move on.
The Guru's business is to bring his disciple from darkness to light. At present, everyone is suffering due to ignorance. Just as one contracts a disease out of ignorance. If one does not know hygienic principles, he will not know what will contaminate him. Therefore, due to ignorance, there is infection, and we suffer from disease. A criminal may say, "I did not know the law," but he will not be excused if he commits a crime. Ignorance is no excuse. Similarly, a child, not knowing that fire will burn, will touch the fire. The fire does not think this is a child, and he does not know I will burn. No, there is no excuse. Just as there are state laws, there are also stringent law of nature, and these laws will act despite our ignorance of them. If we do something wrong out of ignorance, we must suffer. This is the law. Whether the law is a state law or a law of nature, or we risk suffering if we break it.
So very, very nice point here, that, or very important point I should say, that ignorance is not bliss, right? So usually for the materialistic people, ignorance is bliss. But in reality, ignorance doesn't mean that if we are doing something bad to the nature, or we will be not punished. So we have to be very careful, and that's the whole purpose of this human body that has been granted to us, gifted to us, that we inquire about these things. What is the real purpose of life and all those things. If we don't inquire and if we don't make the use of this knowledge, it doesn't mean that we will be spared from the difficulties of the material life. Okay. Can somebody else read the next one?
The Guru's business is to see no human being suffers in this material world. No one can claim that he is not suffering. This is not possible. In this material world, there are three kinds of suffering. Adhyatmik, Adhibhautik, and Adhidaivik. These are miseries arising from the material body and mind, from other living entities, and from the forces of nature. We may suffer mental anguish, or we may suffer from other living entities, from ants or mosquitoes or flies, or we may suffer due to superior power. There may be no rain, or there may be flood. There may be excessive heat or excessive cold. So many types of suffering are imposed by nature. Thus, there are three types of miseries within the material world, and everyone is suffering from one, two, or three of them. No one can say that he is completely free from suffering.
So true, right? So right now the whole world is suffering from which misery out of these three?
Corona virus.
But how in what category can we put in out of these? Adhyatmik, Adhibhautik, and Adhidaivik. Adhibhautik, right? The misery is given to us by other living entities. Adhibhautik. Adhyatmik means the misery is given to us by ourselves, by our mind, right? Sometimes what happens? Two people are talking and the third person will pass by. Oh, they must be talking about me. So that person will start making up his own perception of, without understanding the reality, and get into distress. They must be criticizing me. They must be talking about me. So all that gossip thing that comes under Adhyatmika. And Adhidaivik, the natural disasters, right? Very high level. And usually the Adhidaivik is caused by the demigods who control the forces of this nature. Okay. If you want to continue next, somebody can read.
We may then ask why the living entity is suffering. The answer is out of ignorance. He does not think I'm committing mistakes and I'm leading a sinful life. That is why I'm suffering. Therefore, the Guru's first business is to rescue his disciple from this ignorance. We send our children to school to save them from suffering. If our children do not receive an education, we fear that they will suffer in the future. The Guru sees that suffering is due to ignorance, which is compared to darkness. How can one in darkness be saved? By light. The Guru takes the torchlight of knowledge and presents it before the living entity enveloped in darkness. That knowledge relieves him from the sufferings of the darkness of ignorance. One may ask whether the Guru is absolutely necessary. The Vedas inform us that he is. Tad vinartam sa gurum eva bhigichat samit pani shrotriam brahma nishtam. Mundaka Upanishad 1.2.12.
Anyone would like to read the next one?
The Vedas enjoin us to seek out a guru. Actually, they say to seek out the guru, not just a guru. The Guru is one because he comes in the cyclic succession. What Vyasadeva and Krishna taught 5,000 years ago is only being taught now. There is no difference between the two instructions. Although hundreds and thousands of acharyas have come and gone, the message is one. The real Guru cannot be two, for the real Guru does not speak differently from his predecessors. Some spiritual teachers say, in my opinion, you should do this. But this is true. Such so-called gurus are simply rascals. The genuine Guru has only one opinion, and that is the opinion expressed by Krishna, Vyasadeva, Narada, Arjuna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the six Goswamis. 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna spoke in the Bhagavad Gita, and Vyasadeva recorded it. Srila Vyasadeva did not say, this is my opinion. Rather, he wrote, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. That is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead says. Whatever Vyasadeva wrote was originally spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Vyasadeva did not give his own opinion.
Thank you, Mataji. Very, very important point in this paragraph. I think there's a lot of echo. Okay, is it probably better now? So very important is the real Guru. No Guru, a Guru who is a real Guru, a bona fide Guru, he doesn't create anything of his own, right? This is very, very fashionable in today's time, where a lot of so-called Gurus are cropping up and they create their own sampradaya. But we have to, when we choose a Guru, first of all, what if I will take little time here because this is a very important topic, that we should seek out the Guru. We should find a Guru. So what does it mean? That we have to make sure we do our research and make sure whomever we are choosing as our Guru is in a bona fide parampara, and verify that parampara, and also make sure by associating with that Guru, whether he's fit for us. And similarly, the Guru will check us whether we are fit to be his disciple. That interaction is very, very important when choosing a Guru. Okay. So that's a very, very important point. And also in the previous section, another point was that a real Guru, a genuine Guru, will never claim himself as God. So we see a lot of so-called Gurus, they come out on the television and proclaim they are God. So a Guru who says he is a God is a rascal. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. So a Guru will never think himself as somebody who is very, of a high position person. But for disciples, of course, we have to treat him like a Guru, because Krishna himself comes as Guru. It's a very, very difficult science to understand if we don't understand in a proper guidance. It is said that there are 3 tattvas which are very, very difficult to understand. Radha Tattva, Guru Tattva, and Shiva Tattva. These 3 are very, very complex to understand, and usually if we don't understand them in a proper guidance, we end up making mistake. So that's why in ISKCON, at least I know, there is a nice Guru Disciple course which gives us the complete picture of, based on the Shastras, who a Guru is and how to choose a Guru. So whoever is interested, it's a good idea to go through that course. And any questions on this topic yet? Or anything, any clarification needed? It's an important topic, so I would expect a lot of questions actually.
I would like to share something, Prabhu, if that's okay.
Sorry.
Sure, Mataji.
A guru is actually this is one of my favorite topics. I have to admit it's favorite because it's a really sweet topic, and I just had this realization a few days ago that sometimes as human beings we forget that we have gone through this process of gurus in our lives. They may not be spiritual gurus in terms of Krishna consciousness or God consciousness, but we all have gone to school, we have gone through college. And if we think, even when we were going through school, from first grade to finishing our degrees, we never had the opportunity to choose a guru. I want this teacher because she's nice to me, or I want that teacher because she gives good grades. We just took whatever teacher we got in class, and we put our trust in that teacher, and we worked really hard, and we, by the mercy of those teachers, we are who we are today materially. So in that similar mode, I think it's really important that we look at a guru, Krishna consciously, in that same mood, because I think what I feel sometimes is we have, and as human nature, we are very quick to commit our material lives in the hands of a material guru, but we take too much time to think about putting our lives in the hand of a spiritual guru. And I think that is something that we have to really check within ourselves and see what is, what is the stumbling block that is having us not commit to a spiritual master, even taking to a guru, in terms of spiritual life, but we are very quick to say, oh, I will learn this from this teacher. I will learn, like we don't even hesitate to commit ourselves to a material guru. But when it comes to spiritual guru, there is a stumbling block, and that's something I think that we all have to really go deep and evaluate and check ourselves. What is blocking us from taking the next step forward? Just wanted to share that thought of mine.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing your wonderful thoughts, very practical thoughts. And I will just add one more thing to it that just came to my mind, and I might be forgetting it now. But it will come back to me. But we can continue in the meantime. The point was, like, we all know why we end up in this material world. It was because we turned away from Krishna. We didn't want to surrender to Krishna. The souls who surrendered to Krishna, they become already liberated as Nitya Mukta, and they are enjoying in Vaikuntha, in Krishna Loka with Krishna. But the souls who turned their back towards Krishna, who didn't want to surrender to Krishna, out of mercy for them, Krishna created this material world because we wanted to be the masters. We wanted to lord over the nature. So Krishna says, okay, here you go. Your playground is there. Have fun, right? And we all know how much fun we are having. Or at some point we come to know how much fun we are having. So the point is, because to go back to, now when we realize that we have to go back to Vaikuntha, Krishna, towards Krishna in the spiritual world, the most important thing is that the condition still remains the same. The original condition is still same, that we have to surrender to Krishna. And that surrender will not be forced by Krishna. That's why he gave us, out of his mercy, out of his love, this material world. So through Guru, through devotees, when we come in a spiritual society, the whole idea is that we are learning back to surrender to devotees, to Krishna. So this is our practice through Guru, right? A living Guru. That's why having a living Guru is very important. Through who can instruct you, who can teach you, who can scold you also, and who can, cut your false ego. That's very important, that process. Unless that process completes, we will never be purified, and we will never be surrendering out of our own will. The important thing is, everything that relates to Krishna and devotees has to be with prema, with love. Krishna will never force. Devotees will never force. Out of love only, spiritual progress can be made. So this is a practice. That's why Krishna comes as Guru, to give us a practicing ground here where we can learn, to love devotees, to love Krishna. Otherwise, how can we love somebody who is not in front of us, right? So just wanted to share that thought. Okay, and I think we were, yeah, consequently. Okay, anyone would like to read the next para who have not read yet? Consequently, Srila Vyasadeva is a guru. He does not misinterpret the words of Krishna, but transmits them exactly as they were spoken. If we send a telegram, the person who delivers the telegram does not have to correct it, edit it, or add it to it. He simply presents it. This is the guru's business. The guru may be this person or that, but the message is the same. Therefore, it is said that Guru is one. Guru Tattva is always one. We should never differentiate between different spiritual masters. It's a big, big offense. Comparing the spiritual masters, he is big, he has 1 lakh followers, he has 1 million followers, so he's a big guru. That guru has less followers, so he's a small guru. Never, never we should do it. It's a suicide to our spiritual life. Guru Tattva is one. Based on our tendencies, our desires, our mood, Krishna gave us a guru accordingly. And we choose it. Actually, again, it's a choice also, right? So we have to be very, very careful in not getting into all those nuisances. Guru Tat is one, and he is a perfect representation of Shri Hari, Shri Guru. Anyone would like to read the next one, please?
In the disciplic succession, we simply find repetition of the same subject. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.34, Sri Krishna says, Man manya bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru mam eva shyashi yuktaivam atmana mad paranaya. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. These very instructions were reiterated by all the acharyas, such as Ramanujaracharya, Madhvacharya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 6 Goswamis also transmitted the same message, and we are simply following in their footsteps. There is no difference. We do not interpret the words of Krishna by saying, in my opinion, the battlefield of Kurukshetra represents the human body. Such interpretations are set forth by rascals. In the world, there are many rascal gurus who give their own opinion, but we can challenge any rascal. A rascal guru may say, I am God, or we are all God. That is all right, but we should find out from the dictionary what the meaning of God is. Generally, a dictionary will tell us the word God indicates the Supreme Being. Thus, we may ask such a guru, are you the Supreme Being? If you cannot understand this, then we should give the meaning of supreme. Any dictionary will inform us that supreme means the greatest authority. We may then ask, are you the greatest authority? Such a rascal guru, even though proclaiming himself to be God, cannot answer such a question. God is the supreme being in the highest authority. No one is equal to him or greater than him. Yet there are many guru gods, many rascals who claim to be the supreme. Such rascals cannot help us escape the darkness of material existence. They cannot illuminate our darkness with the torchlight of spiritual knowledge.
Anyone claims to be Guru? Just ask him a simple question. What did Krishna did in Krishna Leela? He lifted Govardhan, right? Simply ask that Guru a question. If you are a God, if you're claiming yourself to be God, can you lift Govardhan? Although Krishna used only little finger, take your both hands. Maybe you can call your 100 disciples, 1,000 disciples and try it, right? Simple measurement we can do. I mean, everyone got the idea what I'm trying to say. And the most important thing about all our spiritual practices is that the whole practice that we are doing is to engage our mind. All the seva, all the services we are doing, the whole reason we do that is to engage our mind, body, and vani, the words for Krishna, okay, and completely absorbed in me. That's why service is very important. Unless we are doing a service to Krishna and devotees, this just becomes a theory, just a sentiment. And Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is not a sentiment, it's a practical science. Okay. Next one, please.
The bona fide guru will simply present with the supreme guru God says in bona fide scripture. A guru cannot change the message of the disciplic succession. We must understand that we cannot carry out research to find the absolute truth. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said, "My Guru Maharaja, my spiritual master, considered me a great fool. He who remains a great fool before his Guru is a Guru himself. However, if one says, I am so advanced that I can speak better than my Guru, he is simply a rascal." In the Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Shri Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam
Evam parampara praptam. We all can recite together. Evam parampara praptam. Imam rajrishiyo vidu. Shakalena mahata. Yogo nashtaha parantapaha.
This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science, as it appears to be lost, as it is appeared to be lost.
Let me quickly see if there is any important point. So yes, we all should be grateful in front of spiritual masters. We should never advise our spiritual master, or we should not act smart. Spiritual master is Hari himself, so he knows our heart. He knows, right? So we have to be very careful. And even with devotees, so this is spiritual master, also our senior devotees, advanced devotees, we should be very careful to not show our intelligence too much. Only if we are asked to advise, we should advise. And we should never think that maybe sometimes what happens to disciples, after a year, 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years, they start thinking, because of our conditioning, we start thinking our guru, our spiritual masters or advanced devotees also as, with the material conception of mind. And we start thinking that I have progressed too much and I'm better than them. We might not be saying that explicitly, but that inner feeling sometimes comes to a lot of devotees. Because now I have become advanced, so I'm better than them. That's a disaster. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, if I can share a story, when he met with Prakashanand Saraswati in Varanasi. Prakashanand Saraswati was the leader of the sannyasis, a lot of sannyasis at that time, who were not following the Vaishnavism, and he was teaching the Vedanta philosophy, and he also asked, looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he realized that he is a very special soul. So when he saw, he asked him to also associate with them and hear the Vedanta philosophy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he wanted to grant mercy on them, he stayed there, and for many days he listened to him. And then one day, Prakashanand Saraswati asked him, I hope you are understanding. Did you understand anything from what I was saying? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you speak very well, but I'm sorry, I have understood nothing. Right away he said that. Only thing I know is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that my Guru has taught. And my Guru has told me that I am the biggest fool. So I know I'm a biggest fool. So only thing I know is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. All this philosophy doesn't sound, So the point is that even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he used to be in front of his Guru, or when he used to refer to his guru, he always used to say, I'm the biggest fool, right? In that connection. So maybe sometime we can take that whole pastime. It's a very, very sweet pastime. A lot of learnings are there. So, okay, the point is that we should never act intelligent in front of our guru. Of course, we have to use our intelligence, all our mind or our heart in his service. That's a different thing. But we should not commit offenses by trying to be, very smarter than him. Next one, please. Sorry, yeah.
Taking on a guru is not simply fashion. One who is serious about understanding spiritual life requires a guru. A guru is a question of necessity, for one must be very serious to understand spiritual life, God, proper action, and one's relationship with God. When we are very serious about understanding these subjects, we need a guru. We shouldn't go to a guru simply because a guru may be fashionable at the moment. Surrender must be there, for without surrender we cannot learn anything. If we go to a guru simply to challenge him, we will learn nothing. We must accept the guru just as Arjuna accepted his guru, Sri Krishna himself.
Karpanyadosho Sahada Swabhava Prachami Dharmasudachetaha Yachachitapasha Nishchitam Bruhi Tanme Shishyaste Aham Sadhimam Tvam Prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Right? So taking on a guru is not a fashion. We should take our own time. Just because somebody has a guru or somebody has a specific guru, we should not just follow blindly. That is not good for spiritual life. Only when we think we are serious and we want to proceed ahead in spiritual life, we should approach our guru. At the same time, we should not delay, because we understand that once we get this human body, and if we don't have a guru, a spiritual master, then it's a wastage of life, spiritual life. Who is guru? He is a captain. This body is, what is this body? It's a boat, right? And guru is the captain of that boat, that ship. And the instructions of scriptures are the favorable wind that directs our life. So this combination is very, very important, and we should make the best use of this opportunity. Okay. And how should we, give me a second, I think there is a message. Okay. There was a private message, so I was reading it. So anyway, so the verse that we just read here, it is how where Arjuna is, the condition of Arjuna is described, how he surrendered to Krishna because he lost all his composure and he was not able to decide what is right and what is wrong. So he needed the guru at that point. Okay. And whenever we go to a spiritual master, a guide, the approach should be humbly seeking, humbly surrendering to him. Tat viddhi pranipatena, tat viddhi prashnain sevaya. Very submissively inquire. We should not never challenge a spiritual master. Whenever, absolutely we have to ask questions and get our doubts clarified, but not in the mood of challenge, not in the mood of offense, not in the mood of testing somebody. Like testing in the sense whether we have to test, of course, right? but not in the challenging mode. I hope I'm making that point clear. If any questions, please feel free to ask. This is the process for accepting a guru. The guru is Krishna's representative, the former Acharya's representative. Krishna says that all Acharyas are his representatives. Therefore, the guru should be offered the same respect one would offer to God. As Vishwanath Thakur says in his prayers to the spiritual master, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. Okay, so let's see the whole prayer. We can read again. I just love this. Can everyone see this number 8? So same tune, we can all sing together and then we can understand the meaning. Yasya prasada
bhagavat prasada
Gati Gati Yayan Suvantasya Yashasandhyam
Guru
Guru
Shri
Shri
Charanaravinda
Charavindam
Guru
Guru
Shri
Shri
Charanaravinda Vande Guru
Guru Shri Charanaravinda.
Thank you so much. And let's read the meaning of that verse, that prayer. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Only by mercy of the spiritual master we can advance in Krishna consciousness. Okay. Okay, we have a couple of more minutes so we can complete this verse probably. Anyone would like to read this? Next verse.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna instructs, Sarvadharman parityaje mame ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayami ma sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Someone may argue, where is Krishna? I shall surrender to him. But no, the process is that we first surrender to Krishna's representative, then we surrender to Krishna. Therefore, it is said, Sakshat Dharitvena Samash Sastrena. The Guru is as good as God. When we offer respects to the Guru, we are offering respects to God because we are trying to be God conscious. It is required that we learn how to offer respects to God through God's representative. In all the Shastras, the Guru is described to be as good as God. But the Guru never thinks, my disciples are offering me the same respect they offer to God. Therefore, I have become God. As soon as he thinks like this, he becomes a dog instead of God. Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Kintu Prabhoreya Priya Eva Tasya, because he is the most confidential servitor of the God. The Guru is offered the same respect that we offer God. God is always God. Guru is always Guru. As a matter of etiquette, God is worshipable God, and Guru is the worshipper God, Sevak Bhagwan. Therefore, the Guru is addressed as Prabhupada. The word Prabhu means Lord and Pad means position. Thus, Prabhupada means he who has taken the position of the Lord. This is the same as Sakshat Dharitvena Samasya Sastrana.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if everyone understood this point. Very, very important. Sometimes when we say Guru is Krishna, same as Krishna, representative of Krishna. So one way to understand that is, so that our mind doesn't get confused, that God, right? Krishna is God as a master, in the mode of master. And Guru is our worshipable God in the mode of servitorship, sevak. Okay, because Guru is always serving. He's always teaching us how to serve, right? How to serve. So that is another way to understand this. Okay, so I think we can stop here. It's 9:17. So we read until this section. Okay. Any questions, please? Any comments? Anything you would have liked? Please share. Because otherwise this book reading might become a little boring if we don't interact. We are already in the virtual session. That's impersonal anyway. Hare Krishna. Anything you would have liked from today's reading? Please share.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, there's one point that we made earlier on in the chapter regarding Guru, an analogy that stated that the Guru is like a fax line. I think that's what it was, or like a telegram, where he's delivering one true message. He's not altering it, but simply canvassing it to his disciples.
Right. Very nice. Thank you. Anyone have any other point?
I think there's one point that I would like to share is when actually piggybacking off of what you said earlier on, Prabhu, was 2 points you mentioned, and two things that came to my mind was detachment. I think just human nature is sometimes when we are attached to how we want things to be, it becomes a stumbling block for one to surrender one's life to a spiritual master or to a guru or even to a teacher. But sometimes as human beings, we fail to realize that we don't have control of anything in this world. Everything belongs to the Lord. So whether we may own $1,000 today, we can lose the $1,000 tomorrow. Nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. That's one point that I got from one of your sharing. And the other point that you just mentioned earlier is questioning the spiritual master. I think that was a very, very good point, that, we no way should we ever think of questioning the spiritual master or of any senior devotee. And I also like the point that you said, we cannot even advise the spiritual master, not even advise a senior devotee. How I was taught is to ask a question humbly, but not advise or state your point even to the guru or to the spiritual master, and that we have to be very open to accepting correction. Because if we think about the days that when we were going to school, and I like to use a lot of that analogy because we tend to forget, because we're all adults, so we forget how we were when we were in school. Is we were corrected by our teachers, we received constructive feedback, we got correction, we got chastisement, we got punishment. But we think that, okay, I've lived that life, so now I'm an adult. Who are you to question me or instruct me or punish me? But that is the mood of a servant, like you were mentioning earlier on, is how to be a servant is just to be at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, at the lotus feet of spiritual masters and senior devotees, and not be in a mood of making the point or questioning or advising or trying to prove my position. Because like I said, that becomes like a fine line of making offenses.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's very, very important to understand this topic for the spiritual life. Anyone else has any questions, any comments?
Okay, Krishna. So one thing I found very interesting was how this was also in the beginning, where we talked about how the guru's business is that no human being suffers in this material world. So I found that interesting because we all suffer no matter what. By they talk about 3 kinds of sufferings: Adhyatmic, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Devik. So we have to figure out a way we can't get away from the suffering, but our guru's business to help us get away. So we need a guru to be able to do that.
Wonderful, wonderful point. I love that. Darsh, Amesh, Youth, Ansh, any points? Govind?
I really want to encourage devotees to ask questions, not just because it's a topic of guru, but again, one can learn only by questions. So if, and no question is a silly question. So I really, really humbly beg devotees, please do ask questions, because it's very, very important that we get clarification of such topic in any topic of Krishna consciousness. Because the only way we learn is asking questions. And sometimes we do think that, oh, I have no question. Just to say the ones that don't have questions are the ones that have the most questions. So let's learn to ask questions, and share our thoughts and our realizations. I think it's really, really important.
Yeah, I think somebody got motivated by you. So I see a hands up. Vrinda, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. I remember when we were reading the chapter, it was mentioned earlier how it is a big offense to compare gurus in terms of which one is better or somewhat like that. For someone who is new to Krishna consciousness and probably does that not intentionally but accidentally, how can we explain to that devotee that it's a big offense to compare the spiritual masters?
Wonderful question. So if I understood you correctly, you're saying is if someone ends up offending or comparing gurus out of ignorance because he or she is new to the process, how should we rectify that?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, one way is that we can express our fault with the guru or with the Vaishnava directly, or I would say whoever you have chosen your guru, one has chosen your guru, discuss with him, reveal your heart to them, because Guru Tattva is same, right? Is one. So when we're talking about, okay, let me express something. It's very, very important. It's a very little advanced topic, but let me express. First of all, who is a true Vaishnava, advanced Vaishnava, or a spiritual master, Guru Tattva, he usually doesn't take our offenses. Okay. Why? Because they know if they start taking offenses, then we are doomed. We are making offenses day and night, left and right. But what happens is Krishna doesn't like that. And this is the problem with Vaishnava Aparadh, that once we commit a Vaishnava Aparadh, then even if the devotee have forgiven us, Krishna's mind is working. We don't know whether he has forgiven us, whether he will forgive us. It's like child and mother, right? If we have hurt a child might not even remember second day. He will forget about it. But mother will always remember. A loving mother will always remember that somebody has hurt his child. She will never forgive, right? So then that's why we have to be very, very humble. And Krishna is not cruel, right? Once he sees our innocent heart, the true innocent heart, then he will get pleased. So to try to answer your question more practically, just reveal your heart to whoever you have chosen or you think he might be your guru, or and reveal your heart and see. It is a process. Krishna also knows, the devotee also knows it's a process, right? So it's not like done deal. And then with the sadhana of Harinam, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given is very, very special. Although there is a bhajan where Narottam Das Thakur says, let me remember if I can recall that bhajan, Hari Sthana Aparadhe Tare Hari Naam. If we made any offenses to the name of the Lord Hari or even to a dham, serving that dham or serving that name of the Hari will save us. But tum sthan apradhe nahi koi, I forgot the last word. Yeah. So meaning is Vaishnava apradha is very dangerous, but at the same time, if it was committed in innocence, Krishna knows our heart. So more important thing is to reveal our mind with advanced Vaishnava and take his guidance. And be careful next time. I don't know if I was able to answer the question to your satisfaction, but Ansuya Mataji, maybe I don't know, you want to add something?
You're good, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, it's all about the Danya Bhav, the humility and true surrender.
And you ended it just the perfect way. It's all about humility and surrender. That's what it is. Yes. Thank you.
Is that okay, Vrinda? Or maybe, I mean, I want to probably say a lot more. Maybe we can talk offline. I would like to discuss.
It was actually perfect. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sure. Okay, so if no other questions, no other comments, it's 9:28. We can go to the Nrsimha prayers, and let's have the mood of praying for everybody, for each other, for the whole society, for the whole humanity. Things are still, we all know, it's very, very unstable, very disturbing, and just not health-wise, even economically, the things are getting worse. And we might not be feeling the impact right now, but it will come soon. If not now, in a month, in 2 months, in 6 months. So things are going to be scary. Even if this virus goes away, the impact is going to last for a long, long time. So let's pray for everybody. We can keep the strength. And only strength we can have at these points, these times is when things are totally out of control, is spiritual strength. So let's surrender ourselves, pray to the Lord that He can give us the necessary strength and keep our mind stable. So let me see, Surat, you would like to speak? Let me pull up the prayer. We'll pray to Lord Nrsimha Dev for the protection. And the mood we should have is, please protect me so that any disturbances in the path of devotion, in my spiritual life, they can be removed. When we pray like this, automatically all our obstructions, all our disturbances will be removed, whether they are spiritual or material. So asking for spiritual benefits is more important. Let me pull up the prayer.
Namaste Narashingaya.
Namaste Narashingaya.
Namaste Narashingaya. Namaste
Narashingaya.
Kalade lade dahine.
Kalade
Daine.
Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha.
Hiranyakasi
Purvakshaha.
Ito Narshinga Pade Yato yato yamita to nashinga.
Yato yato yami tato narshimo.
Bahe nashima hidahe nashima.
Bahe
Narshimo hirdaye narshimo.
Bahir nashinga hidaye nashinga.
Narshimo.
Narashima Madin Shadena Prabhade.
Narshimodem sharanam prapade.
Narashima Madin Shadena Prabhade.
Narshimodem sharanam prapade.
Sabakara Kamalavare Nakan Adutasinga Dalita Niranyakashipu Sanobe
Jagadish Hare Kamale
Hare Nakam Udashinga Lalita
Kashipu Jagadish Hare Jagadish Hare Jagadish Hare
Nalita Miranyakashipu Sanubena Isabadita Narayana Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha
Sabakara Kamalavare Nakan Adhuta Singha Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish
Jagadish
Hare
Jaya Narsimhare Jaya Narsimhare Jaya 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 Narsimhare Jaya Narsimhare
Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev
Jaya Praladara Jaya Praladara Jaya Praladara Jaya Praladara Jaya
Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad
Maharaj
Maharaj,
Prahlad Maharaj Jaya
Jaya
Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj Jai
Maharaj.
Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Gora Hari Bol Jai Gora Hari
Bol
Bol
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari
Jaya
Bol.
Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya
Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada Jaya Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Prabhupada
Prabhupada.
Hari Bol.
Bhakti Vignaraj Lakshmi Bhagwan ki
Jai Ho.
Jai
Jai.
Maharaj ki
Jai
Jai
Jai.
Veda Bhakti ki
Jai Ho.
Jai.
Sai Gopalanand
Hari
Hari
Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
So, anything anyone has to add to today's discussion, or in general anything? I hope everyone is doing good. Okay. So we will end the call today, but and then we will meet tomorrow evening at 7:45 p.m. same time and continue with the book reading. So thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Ho. Jai.